Welcome back to Fitness Manifesto. I am one of your hosts, Kim, and joining me is
Justin. Welcome to this new show that we've started, which focuses on life, awesomeness, friendship, and fitness as a whole.
Are you hearing an echo too?
Yeah, all of a sudden I hear an echo. I didn't hear it before.
But it's just you. I don't
You hear I'm an echo?
See, Justin, you're always the issue.
Kim, welcome back. How are you?
Welcome, Justin. How are you?
Well, I'm incredibly excited today because we have a very special guest. We have someone known as the Handstanding Mama on with us today. You want to introduce her?
I would love to. Y'all, I would love to introduce you guys to Tisa. We are so excited that she is joining us here today on Instagram. She is known as the Handstanding Mama. She's phenomenal, y'all.
Well, thank you. I am so excited to be here. And you know what? I was saving this for when we started, but my name is actually pronounced Tisa, like Lisa. But I have to explain that to everyone more than once. 85 to 90% of people pronounce it wrong. And then the minute I go, it's like Lisa with a T, they go, oh, okay. But everyone does it. So I'm always happy to explain it. And people go, wow, okay, what a cool name.
Well, I'm glad you explained that to us. So is that your full name?
Yeah, it is not short for anything. My dad was actually in the Air Force when my mom was pregnant with me. And there was a sign that said Troop Issue Support Activity. So it was an acronym. And then it said Tisa. And he thought that was the coolest name. So I'm named after a billboard in Alaska.
Oh, I love that.
Well, hang on. Are you from Alaska?
No, I'm from California. I know, it's super random.
Wait, what part?
California?
Yeah.
The Bay Area.
Oh, you're a northerner. I'll forgive you. All right.
I am a northerner.
All right.
He holds grudges. Watch out.
But I'm from California. California will always be my home. I miss it dearly. We go home as often as we can. My parents still live in the house that they bought in 1977 for $60,000. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's almost unheard of nowadays.
Unheard of. Yes.
60,000 is just from SFO to I don't know, maybe Palos Altos. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. No, they're in about 20 miles east of San Francisco. They're right over the bay.
Wow. That's pretty phenomenal.
Yeah. They love it though. They're not going anywhere.
I wouldn't either, especially the climate up there. It's pretty nice.
Yes.
I will give California that. The weather is beautiful all year round.
Yes. I've only been in Texas about 3 years now, and I've learned quickly that I can't boast about California all that much. So people get a little bit upset and, whatever. But I love California. California, I'm a Cali girl all the way. So.
Well, I'm a Cali guy all the way. And I got to tell you, the first time I moved here, I told someone in our neighborhood, I live in a cul-de-sac. They were so funny because I was like, what are you from? And I said, LA. They're like, what part? I said, Marina Del Rey. And they're like, I've never heard of that. Is that near New Orleans? And I'm like, you thought no one on earth thinks Louisiana when I say LA.
They do in Texas. They do in Texas. Yes, exactly.
And then they heard I was from California. They were like,
if you look at Justin, he doesn't look like he's from Louisiana.
No, I would have guessed California immediately.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I looked at him and I'm like, you're not very bright, but we're not judging people here.
That's right. We're not judging.
I don't know. It sounds like you just judged him.
All right. Blake, you can bleep this out, but
awesome sauce.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So yes. So what brought you to Texas?
Long story short, divorced a couple years, but when we made the split, we kind of already decided on Houston because my ex-husband works for,
I don't know.
So we had kind of decided on that already. And while I would love to go home to California, we're both from California. We couldn't afford that.
Yeah,
I mean, who are we kidding? So when Texas came into the picture, I was like, sure. Why the heck not? But guess what? I mean, we own a beautiful house now in Texas that we would have never, ever in a million years been able to afford in California. So many things I'm grateful for, just the cost of living alone. So yeah, we'll be here for the next, I don't know, at least our youngest is 10. So we'll be here the next 10 years, 8 years, maybe. Yeah.
So how many kids do you have?
So I have 2 from a previous marriage, and then Tate has 2 from a previous marriage. So we have 4 total, and they're all 3 out of 4 teenagers.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I swear I just found 3 gray hairs last night just because of that.
Is handstanding your drug of choice, or is it alcohol? Like, what is it to get through those 2?
Both of those things. The oldest just turned 15. And then we have 2 that are 13. And then the youngest is 10, almost 11, but she's going on about 18.
Oh, so were they all girls?
Deal. Yes.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
What, your entire house?
The entire house.
Well, I have 1 daughter, and that's enough for me. Yes.
Yeah, one daughter too. And wow.
Yeah. I mean, it's all relative, right? I look at pictures when, they were little and I'm like, oh, I miss them as babies. And then everyone says, oh, appreciate each stage. I'm really searching for the appreciation at this particular stage. It's a rough one. It's a rough one. And I call my mom every day and I'm like, Mom, how did you do this? And she said, take it one day at a time.
A deep breath.
You take a deep breath and you take one day at a time and you just hope and pray that your parenting will pay off in the end.
This is why you work out.
In the long term. Listen, it's why I work out. It's to keep my mind sane, my body, youthful so I can keep up with everyone. Yeah.
Tough because my daughter, so like I have a 9-year-old. She's like your daughter, except I think she's more 30. She's 9 going on 30. And like,
oh boy,
the other day she came down and she's like, her name's Bailey. She's like, Dad, I've decided I'm only going to wear makeup now. I'm like, no, you're not. No, you're
9?
not. Like, don't grow up. You're too perfect. Like, just be a little girl for a bit because life will come at you so hard. Like, please just stay young. And then this morning I saw her, tomorrow's, I think their 50th day of school or something like that. And she already has her outfit laid out and she has like makeup and everything. I'm like, oh my gosh, what is happening here? Kelly, help. Yes.
It moves fast. It really does. And it's so cliche to say you blink and they're teenagers.
Sure.
Like, where did that go? And so really, I know it sounds, again, very cliched to, appreciate those moments when they're 9. It felt like yesterday that the kids were babies.
Yeah. We have a 17-year-old and he is about 5'11". I mean, he towers over me and his hair is long down to his butt. It is red and I get to braid it, which I'm okay with. He's got a girlfriend that comes and hangs out. So yes, when you blink, it's gone.
It's weird. But do you remember when you first had kids, you're like, when will the stage be over? I'm like, I don't miss the baby stage, but I do look back. I do appreciate all the stages. I know that they're hard. I have one teenager. He's a boy and he's been actually great so far, but I understand that it goes by so quick now. But before I was like, you're full of it. Like it doesn't go by fast enough.
It's true. It's true.
I know people talk about the terrible 2s and I'm like, no, it gets worse. You have the worst 3s. Like the terrible 2s is the worst 3s are even, and then you have the horrific 4s. And then they get like their own little personalities and can start talking back and have their own ideas. And that's when you start thinking, why did we want kids? Right?
I think frequently, what the heck did we do before kids? How did we fill our time? Did we just sit there and twiddle our thumbs? Because my gosh, mentally and physically, having kids is so time consuming and emotionally consuming. And God, when you were just by yourselves, why didn't you do more?
Yeah, no, I agree with that. We joke with our 17-year-olds all the time and we do it on purpose. We'll look at them and be like, why did we want kids again? Do you know where we would be right now? Like where we would even be living? We wouldn't be in the suburbs.
And we'd be so rich.
Yes. Yes, I agree.
Incredibly wealthy. Yes.
Yes.
Well, so I want to ask you a question because you've got 4 kids. And I think this is really pertinent, especially with the health community, which I think is really fun. How do you do it with 4 kids and especially teenagers? One of the things that I find is morning time is really sacred to me, right? Like that is like a really special time. But I noticed that once all my kids are up, that special time is no longer my time. So what do you do to do it all?
I think you're 100% right. The morning time is sacred. If I give anyone advice on timing is structure and allotting that time for you in the morning. So when that alarm goes off at whatever, 5 or 5:30 or 6, your time is that time. And really that should stay. You can be flexible the rest of your day, but if you need that, like I need that, that's what I would recommend is hitting that alarm, getting up. Don't have excuses. Get up for you and then do what you need to do for you. Whether that's working out, whether it's drinking coffee, whether it's taking a walk, it's just for you. And then guess what? That time goes by very quickly. 45 minutes later or whatever that timing is, then the whole house is chaotic. There's no more quiet time. And then again, I work from home. So people are like, oh, well, then your house is quiet all day. Well, no, I'm working. That doesn't mean I just go and, oh, I can do whatever I want now. No, I work all day until then it's pickup time. And then that crazy time happens again. And then we have after school stuff and sports and all the things that are not for me. That me time was about 10 hours ago.
So then how do you've got 4 kids. They're all girls. Is there fighting that goes on? I mean, how do they bicker a lot?
I mean, they're siblings. So yes, I will say that the youngest is by far the feistiest. She has an attitude with a punch. But I say, you know, the middle two, Tate and I talk about a lot that their personalities are they're people pleasers. They're really academic. They're very sports focused. We don't worry about them. They are very self-motivated. They're just doing their thing. The oldest one is kind of finding her way. She kind of is a true teenager right now, 15, just struggling, dealing with a little bit of lying and, you know, the teenage stuff, right? But the 10-year-old, man, if she doesn't own her own business when she's older or lead a gang in prison, you know, I'd be shocked because
oh my gosh, I love that.
She has the personality to just take over. Teachers say it, and everyone kind of has the same voice about her, that she's a helper. She loves to teach and help and nurture, but in a very direct way. If you're supposed to be in line, she will say, Miss So-and-so said to be in line 3 times with a straight face and all. So she kind of rules the roost over here, to be honest with you. Charlotte just says what goes, and we go, yeah, sure. Okay, let's do it.
Now, do you think is that a quality that she may have enjoyed from you a little bit? Or is that a good comment?
Yeah, I mean, my mom jokes about that. She's very passionate. We used to say when she was a baby that she 110% either loves the world or hates the world in that moment. And you will know when, why, and how that all occurred. And she's still like that to this day. And I never wanted to dim that from her because, man, she is passionate about whatever it is. And she's not pliable, and she doesn't lean towards whatever everyone else is saying or doing or thinking. And I think that's a quality at 10 to hang on to. And I never want her to feel like, not that you can't be a people pleaser, but you know, she's going to be the first one to stand up if she sees someone getting bullied or what have you. She's the first one to, hey, that's not right. And she doesn't care. She doesn't think of herself and isn't afraid to speak up, but she does it in a respectful, kind way. We preach at home, be kind and respectful. Be kind and respectful. I don't care who you're talking to, whether it's a kid or a teacher or a parent, be kind and respectful in all ways. And she really exudes that in her dictatorship way sometimes.
That's a good trait to have. And I hope she never, ever
I hope so too.
forgets who she really is, because especially in this day and age, she needs that. She's got to have that voice, and she's got to stand up for herself.
100%.
See, we call my youngest son, he's almost like your daughter, and he's that sweet kid, but he's very direct. I call him Little Mao because he's just so he's that person that people will follow, and I'm like, I don't think you should. Like, not yet. Not yet. Like, but he's the exact same way. So tell me, because I'm dying to know, this is one of the things that I was so excited to learn about, is I've never been able to do a handstand a day in my life. I've been an athlete my entire life. I've always been in awe of it. How did you get started? Like, what in the world? Like, I'm so curious. Please.
I grew up, I started dancing when I was, 3 or 4, like normal kids do. And when I was about 5 or 6, the dance studio created a little tumbling class and they hired a coach. God, that was in the 80s, as old as I am at this point. And
that's okay. Justin's like in the 70s, so we're good.
The sports acrobatics, which is now known as acrobatic gymnastics, was very, very, very new at that point. And our coach happened to be one of those coaches. So he immediately turned our tumbling class into like an acrobatic class. At the age of like 9 or 10, I was already starting to compete a little bit in some local competitions and some regionals. Acrobatic gymnastics is a combination of tumbling, dance, Cirque du Soleil skills like human pyramiding, throwing, catching, and you do it in different groups. So you can either have 2 women, 3 women, 2 men, a man and a woman. So a whole bunch of different combinations. And you essentially compete on a springboard floor, which is a 40 by 40, just like artistic gymnastics. And you do a routine of about 2.5 minutes, and you have to do all these skills with some dance, and you get judged. So I started that when I was, before I was 10. I did that all the way through high school, took a break in college, thought I was done. I had retired, and then moved down to the Central Coast in San Luis Obispo and decided to coach and started coaching acrobatics. But then someone got injured and they were like, can you just fill in? And at this point I was in my mid-20s and I was like, ew, to put on a leotard again? No, thank you. But that actually stepped me back into it. And then I competed heavily. And then I went international at an elite level, competed at world championships in Portugal. Gosh, I didn't retire till I was almost 30. I was like the grandma of the sport. So needless to say, I've been handstanding since I was 8. It's like riding a bike. As long as you keep up with it, you're only going to get better. better. You're not going to forget the skill. You might forget it short term, but if you continue to work it, it's just going to be there. And then you have the health benefits of handstanding, just your mind and the blood flow and the oxygen levels and all those things. You talk to a lot of yoga people and they will tell you the same thing, that getting upside down is great for your body and your mind. I don't ever tell people like, you should go do handstands in your yard. No, learn how to do them first, but they are very good for you. And even if you don't know how to handstand yet, laying on a couch and kind of tipping yourself over, it's really good for you. So I've been handstanding for a long, long time.
I just have to point out, because the audience can't see us, but if you guys could see Justin's face, it was priceless. I think he had to I still think he has to pick up his jaw off the ground.
Well, so I've got two things to it. One, my daughter is she does tumbling and all that stuff, and she's like incredibly athletic and really gifted. And I didn't know this existed. So I'm so excited because I got to talk to Kelly after this. I want to get involved because I don't like the cheer stuff. I don't think that's the right environment for her, but I think this would be really great for her. And the second thing is, I'm just blown away. I had no idea you're doing it almost your entire life. That's awesome.
It's a really cool sport. Later on, I'll send you guys some YouTube videos, my own YouTube videos, but also just the sport in general it's a beautiful, amazing sport. And the thing I love about it, to be honest with you, is sports acrobatics or acrobatic gymnastics can encompass anyone, any shape, any size, any age, because most of the time in my group, for example, there was myself who was almost 30. Then the other girl who was about my size was, 18 at that point. And then our little one who we were throwing around was 15. You can be at any point in your life. Basically, the kids peak like about high school, because that's when you want to have a life, right? You don't want to be so focused on that one thing. But it's not like artistic gymnastics. You have to be a certain build and have a certain ability and then be able to do those apparatuses. This has just a springboard floor. It is a team sport, but does have some individual aspects. The opportunity for kids to be able to travel the world with this sport, because it is so small and not like soccer or cheerleading or things like that, where everyone and their mother is doing it. It is such a cool, beautiful sport. It's pretty amazing. They have a couple, they don't have any in Katy, but there are a lot of great teams in Texas. I actually teach some private lessons, tumbling and some little acrobatic classes. I've coached everywhere we've lived because I love it. I love sharing the knowledge of acrobatic gymnastics, because guess what? It's one thing to do things on your own. And then it's another thing to be able to trust someone else, that person to trust you. Those are the pieces in this sport. And not only does it teach you discipline and work ethic and all of those things, but then to be able to truly work with another human being, maybe a different age, maybe they're built differently or what have you, but that's been huge for this sport, I think.
I love that. And also, I just have to say, age is just a number.
100%.
So this shows you that regardless what that number is, you can still do it and you can still shoot for the stars.
That's right. That's right. You can still handstand in your 40s.
Well,
gosh darn it.
So.
Justin can't.
I'm definitely the old man of the group here. I know that, yes.
I would love to watch you try to handstand.
If you saw Tisa's face, no way. No, not right now. We'll make
she
that.
Teach you how to do it.
Let's put the gauntlet down here. Let's put the challenge out there that I will work towards that goal. I will do that, yes, and I'll film it.
Oh, yes, I will be present for this.
Okay,
I don't want to see a picture. I don't want to see a video. I want to be there.
Of course you will be. I mean, I can't do anything else other than that. I'd be embarrassed if I didn't have you there, both of you. You'd have to see it, and then you can both laugh as I struggle, and I finally get up, and I'm like, woo, and then I fall. But that's all that matters.
Yes.
It's just like surfing. Come on.
To be honest with you, I think people who have never handstanded in their lives look at it and go, oh my gosh, that's too hard. I can't do that. But really, when you break it down into smaller pieces and there's certain building blocks, it really is attainable, especially if you have a natural athletic ability and body awareness. Once you have those little tiny building blocks, you would be surprised. 1 or 2 drills you work on for a week or so, and you'll start to like kind of popping in and going, oh, dang, look at what my body can do. It's really cool. I'm working on, Justin, this is for you specifically. I'm actually working on a handstand program, a really basic like 101 program. It's a long process, but I'm working on it so that everyone can at least try, because I'm big on goals. I'm big on challenging yourself. And I feel like this is such a good for you challenge for everyone, young, old, you name it. So Stay tuned.
So,
Oh,
in
man.
your lifetime,
Yeah.
because I know you do handstands everywhere, how many handstands would you say you have done?
Just this morning.
Oh, Kim, listen. So I've been handstanding. I lost track, but I think it's been over 10 countries now. I lost count of those things because I started it so long ago, like traveling. I started to do it on beaches in Thailand and Sri Lanka and, you name it, Greece, whatever. And then last year I thought, you know what? I'm not just going to handstand on my vacations. I'm going to try once a week. Once a week, I'm going to train my handstands. I'm going to do it. So I did 52 weeks of handstands. Well, then coming into this year, I was like, well, what's the next step? What's the next goal? What's the next challenge that I'm not going to do once a week again? And so I thought, let's do once a day. Let's see what that looks like. Let's see how that feels. And let me tell you, if you think about it, there are not many things you do every day besides breathing, sleeping, eating that you
pee every day.
Right? Right. What else do you do intentionally every single day? There's not a lot. Some people choose to read, some people go on a walk, but how many of those things do you truly do every day? And about 50 days into this year, when I was handstanding every day, I immediately felt a difference in my body. I felt a difference in my handstands. And I was getting to a point where I was proud of myself. Look what I'm doing. Look what I'm able to do every day. Now, don't get me wrong. There are some days where I'm like, it's 9 p.m. and I'm like, crap, I didn't do a handstand today. So it happens in my kitchen or in my living room. But by gosh, I do that handstand. Some days are more intentional than others. A lot of days I will train my handstands. Like I'll work out in the morning and then I'll do 10 or 15 minutes of certain exercises for my handstands. And then sometimes it's literally a 6:30 a.m. handstand at a softball field because I will be there all day for my daughter's tournament. It just is what it is. But you work with it. And people who are in my daily life know that. They'll ask, did you do your handstand today? Or they'll go, hey, that sunset's really cool. You should do the handstand here. Or so I got ideas coming from everywhere and everyone's wanting to participate and everyone wants to know where I'm going to do the handstand. So it's just such a cool thing. And it has kept me accountable posting them because I mean, we all know social media, like it is what it is, but I post for multiple reasons. I post for me, I post to keep myself accountable, but I also post to show people like, do something intentional. It doesn't have to be a handstand. Read, go for a walk, call your mom, start knitting, do something that's going to challenge your mind, something you have to make an effort.
And
Start knitting. That'll age you like by a lot. You said,
hey, I mean,
knitting.
So-
Yeah. Why don't you get your bloomers on and let's go outside and knit? Yes.
So you are crazy passionate about this. You can hear it in your voice. You can see it in your body language. And I love that. I love the driving force that you have that is coming from behind the idea that you posted and you're like, look, all you got to do is start somewhere, right? So you also said that you work from home. Is this incorporated with your current job?
so the handstanding is just for me.
Okay.
That's just for me. That doesn't do anything for anyone else, really. I will say that posting my handstands, I get so many messages of people who don't handstand who are like, either I wish I could do a handstand or you really motivate me and you are such a positive influence. And that warms my heart. But that has nothing to do. I don't get paid to do that. I don't get paid to handstand. I don't get paid to do any of that. My jobs, my full-time jobs, aside from being a mom and a parent and a wife, I do social media for other people. And then Tate and I, my husband and I also own KFT, which is a fitness clothing brand that stands for Keeping Fit Together. We were lucky enough to be given the opportunity this past summer to become owners of this company. And I had been a fan. It's just a small business that started up just a few years ago. And I had been a fan for a couple of years of the previous owners. And I love the line. I love what it stands for. I love community. We said, heck yes, we want to keep this going. And so it's, sports bras and leggings and t-shirts and things like that. But more than that, it's community. We want you to be able to feel like a shark if you're a shark, but still stand out in your own ways. And you don't need to be an Olympic lifter to be an athlete. You can work out in your garage and be an athlete. You can do all of these things and be wherever you are on your journey and still be keeping fit together. Our kids, everyone's in sports, everyone's doing stuff. We are all about doing these things together. And it's truly about building other people up. I mean, that's what makes me feel good is when I can make someone else feel good too. I mean, I don't make $1 million doing this, but this is what I'm passionate about. It's that community feel and spreading this brand. Do I want you to buy a sports bra? Sure. But if you're going to wear that sports bra because it's bright orange and you just want to prance down the street in it because it feels good and it looks good, do it. Wear the shorts, eat the cake. That's it.
I agree with that. And I love the passion that comes behind it. I love it. I love to hear it in your voice because you are 100% correct.
That's what I love about just the fitness community as a whole most of the time, right? You run across a few people that aren't necessarily supportive of other people, right? But most of the time it's a community that is really about helping each other and trying to help you achieve your goals. One of the things you said earlier was, being accountable, right? That's huge. Holding yourself and other people accountable is the absolute number one way to success in almost anything you do. I mean, you're an entrepreneur. I'm an entrepreneur. It's in, our little ding dong friend down there, Kim, is as well.
Don't you talk crap to me, Justin.
Kim, it'd been at least 20 minutes since one of us did something.
I know. It's because we've been listening to an amazing speech. I mean, I love to hear about your life, Tisa, and how you have become who you are. I love that. There is so much negativity wrapped around fitness. There's so much body shaming. People are cruel and people are mean. And to see the light in it, because I feel the same way. All you have to do is say yes to yourself and show up. It doesn't matter if you're doing 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. It doesn't matter as long as you show up for yourself, not for anybody else. You show up for you, because if you show up because, so-and-so said, I got to do this, you're in it for the wrong reason. You got to do this for you.
I would
100%.
add to that though, and just say that a tribe is really important too, though, because one of the things that we talk about a lot, Kim, is that having that support structure there for you is really important. Like Tisa had mentioned a second ago, I think it's great that you had people like, hey, there's a sunset. Let's do it. You should do it right here. Like that is badass to have people behind you that are supporting you in something that seems relatively trivial, but it's not. It has a huge impact on other people, and you're inspiring other people by doing that. As Kim said, just for this podcast alone, you're going to give people a ton of ideas to say, maybe I could do this. I don't want you to ever feel like what you're doing is being wasted, because it's certainly not. I mean, I think it's fascinating. My daughter is so inspired by it. She watches it all the time and she's like, oh my God, that's awesome. I want to do that. So she'll go in the backyard and try it and then fall, and she'll get up and she eventually does it. And so I think it's admirable. Now, one question I do have for you, though, is being a Californian, living in Texas, right? It took a little bit of adjusting, and especially because I moved here 8 years ago. So it was even more Texas when I moved here. So I've got to know from your side, what is it like being a Northern Californian in Southern Texas?
Oh man, Justin, you're diving right into the deep stuff.
Justin, tread lightly.
I'm looking for funny stories because I have tons, please.
Listen, I had no idea. I've been friends with Texans before living in Texas, and man, they live and breathe being from Texas. And I get it. Cool. The obsession with,
I don't know.
Unhealthy.
Unbelievable. I think I offended people when I had been here for a couple years, and I went into my first,
I don't know.
I think I posted a story or something on Instagram, like checking out,
I don't know.
because everybody says it's this big deal. And what is it about this? I got like hate messages. Like,
I bet you did.
You've never been to,
I don't know.
oh my God, done, noted. I got it.
I don't know.
It's awesome. And people said it was the restrooms and the slushies are amazing. And it was overwhelming. So that was,
Your chocolate covered almonds are the best.
listen, it was a cool place. It was a cool place with clean restrooms. Cool. I can't tell you the amount of times I have been in a situation in the past few years of living here where we've been at a restaurant or just out and about in big crowds or what have you, and people will be having a conversation and California is brought up and people start talking some crap and this California this and don't California my Texas and da 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 da. And I am the one who will go, well, I'm from California.
Me too.
Good for you, because I would do the same thing.
Well, and I want them, to be honest with you, in most of those situations, I don't do it to get a rise out of people. I don't do it to create any kind of animosity between people, but I do want them to then think twice and go, well, I like you and you're from California, so maybe they're all not so bad. That's really my goal. I don't mean to start anything with stuff like that, but I do want to open people's eyes, and it's okay to like me and I'm from California. We're not all bad.
Okay, I'm going to make that bumper sticker, and I'm getting one for both of us. Yes.
Yes.
I like that. That is the new slogan of the show. I'm from California. You can like me. It's okay. Yes.
Yeah.
That is not, no. You need to like backspace delete because that is not the bumper of this show. You are wrong, Justin. And I kind of like Justin, and he's from California too.
Well, and that's the point, I think, that Texans preach friendship and all these other things, but there's so much, I feel like so much negativity against California. And again, being here from California, there's lots of things that I appreciate about Texas. And I would have never appreciated had I not moved here. And that's all I'm asking people to see is that I can say, I love these things about Texas. I also miss these things about California, but I'm still going to be kind and respectful to all of you here in Texas who are giving me warm welcomes and things like that. Californians are not all bad.
People have forgotten about that in this day and age. I mean, people have forgotten how to be kind, or like Justin and I have spoken about in our shows previously, to say hi and to be kind. Kindness goes a very, very long way.
A long way.
Or a simple smile.
I was just going to say, if you start with a smile, cost you nothing.
Where you're from. Yes, it doesn't matter.
Lead with a smile, you can't go wrong. Now, I will tell you one thing that I think is really funny about Texas is when I first moved here, it was the only state that I met someone actually named Misty that wasn't a stripper and that you could spell Misty 3 different ways. I'm like,
oh yeah.
Hang on. Now, phonetically, that may be correct, but I'm not sure that's accurate.
Yeah, I've never met a Misty down here, but I did when we lived in Wyoming.
And I tried to giggle. I'm like, your name Misty? Like, okay, all right. And there's 2 I's in your name? Really? Okay, all right. We're good. But you get what I'm saying.
Justin, if he wasn't talking crap.
This is the fun part about that one thing that I do love about the United States, because I went to school in London and I've been all over the place, and like you have, and it's really fun to travel the world. And the cool part about especially the United States is that you have basically the world in one place. You have every culture here. You can go to central Houston, you can have a Vietnamese population, you can have India. Like, it's crazy to me that you have all these melting pots everywhere here, and yet we still refer to ourselves as like Texans or Californians. You know, like, yet we all get along. It's just this weird thing that, like, now that I'm here, I don't know. Does that make any sense?
It totally makes sense. And I think, to be honest with you, and I'm going to get a lot of hate for this, I'm sure, having lived overseas and being the American, right? And the stigma that comes with that, depending on where you are, I almost felt that same feeling when I moved to Texas. Sometimes I still feel it.
Wow, really?
Yes. I feel like if you're not born and raised here, it's a different welcoming. The people are very nice. I'm not saying that they're not very nice. I just feel like Texans really have a built-in, if you are born and raised here, you are fully accepted. Other than that, it's a little bit different. And you kind of have to work your way in and be truly accepted here, which I try to exude that. And I preach to my own children that it doesn't matter where you are in the world, you're kind and respectful and you respect other cultures and beliefs and all of these other things. And I have done that coming into Texas. I have embraced, and I still don't say y'all because I feel like that's weird and goes against everything I have in me as a Californian.
Yeah.
But
I say it all the time.
But with that said, I do really make an effort to embrace, the Texas culture and the feel and such. But it is hard to get over that outsider feeling.
I understand that too. I was born in Texas. I lived in Texas till I was a 2nd grader. And then I moved to Wyoming. And then I moved to the Middle East. And then when I graduated high school, we moved back to Wyoming. So I didn't actually move back to Texas. Oh my gosh, Abba is 9. So it'll be 10 years in February. So
do you feel like it's changed a lot or no?
Yes, honestly, I think I remember living here when I was younger. People were a lot more friendly, so much more friendly. We've lost that. And I don't say necessarily just Texans. I think humans as in a whole.
I agree.
I mean, people have gotten away from being nice, but I do have to point out that I know the audience can't see this, but we're having this conversation about Texas and I am wearing a...
Yes, you are.
I think it is great.
And she's like,
check it out, y'all.
I had to laugh. See? I just thought it was funny. We were talking about it. I'm like,
we know where your allegiance is.
I have no allegiance.
That's the other thing that makes me laugh about here is because my kids go to school in Katy, right? And I know it's everywhere in Texas, but I've never heard of a state pledge. They do the United States pledge and then they do the Texas pledge. And I was like, you have a state pledge? I was like, all right, this may not be.
To the flag.
To the flag. No, to the
flag is usually bigger than the U.S. flag. Or it's higher.
See, and it's not supposed to be either of them.
Well,
The United States flag is supposed to be in the middle and it's supposed to be bigger and it's supposed to be raised higher.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Justin. I think in California, we stopped even doing the Pledge of Allegiance back when we were in school. I don't think they do it anymore, right?
Oh, no. I mean, I stopped probably like second or third grade, sincerely.
Yeah, early on. So I was surprised too. This was my kids' first public school experience was here in Texas, moving to Katy. And I was shocked. Not only were they doing the Pledge of Allegiance, but then they did a state allegiance. And I was like, I couldn't even remember. I was there for some morning meeting or something, and everyone's doing the Pledge of Allegiance. I couldn't even remember the words. I was like, oh my God, it's been 30 years. But
see, we did it. We've always done the Pledge of Allegiance, always.
But again, see, you grew up in that middle part of the country. So like when you're a coaster, it's just, it's a different world. Like that's what makes the United States so neat, because like I worked in New York for a long time, and I was like, oh, shoot me now. I don't ever want to go back. Not that they're bad people. They're great people, but it's just not my lifestyle. It's so different. It's a great place. I
do want to go ride at the Peloton studio in New York.
I would do that in a heartbeat. Are you kidding me? I would.
Oh my gosh, me too. I'd be all over it.
Okay, I will. Peloton, if you invite me out, I will ride. Yes, absolutely. I would love
Oh my gosh, me too. Justin, we should make that happen one day. Wouldn't that be awesome?
Kim, let's make some connections. I'm happy to help you with that.
Those are some goals, people. I think that's perfect.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, we're both instructors. So, I mean, why wouldn't we? And we both ride Pelotons.
Now, we're getting ready to wrap up here. And I want to say, first and foremost, thank you so much. As we wrap up the show, we definitely want to have you back. Do you want to leave the audience with anything, or any tips or any ideas that you've had now that we've spoken for a little bit that you are just dying to get off your chest?
Honestly, I know this is like a fitness lifestyle podcast, but it's whatever you make it. Just like Kim said earlier, like just start something. Just do it for you. Start something. Don't be complacent. Don't wait till tomorrow. Don't wait for a week from now. Don't wait till someone suggests it for you. Just pick something and do it. Challenge yourself. You'll never know how good it will make you feel. And then you can do better with other people, as a parent, as a wife,
as a friend.
What's that saying that you can't pour from an empty glass? Fill your glass first. Fill your glass first with whatever that means to you. Whether it is fitness or reading more or cooking or whatever that bucket is. But man, fill it up so that you can live a better life for you and then help others.
And imagine how good you feel doing it.
God, that was like a verbal hug. Thank you. All right.
Tisa, I also need you to tell our audience your Instagram account so they can follow you, and also where they can find your fitness attire.
Yeah. On Instagram, my handle is Handstanding Mama, MAMA. It's full of just laughs and handstands and silliness and just fun along the way. And then KFT is at kftbrands.com. Our Instagram handle is KFT_brands. And if you DM me, I will give you a special code that is podcast related. So if you came from this podcast, I will give you a special cool discount code. It's cool stuff. Like I said, you don't have to be an Olympic lifter or a professional CrossFitter to wear the stuff. It's just stuff that promotes community and makes you feel good and supports your boobies along the way. And, and really, that's about it.
I feel if you don't even work out, if you haven't even taken that step yet, you can still wear it.
Absolutely. It's a lifestyle. We have stickers and water bottles and hats and t-shirts, but it's about promoting community. It's about, I want to see you walking down the street wearing a KFT shirt, not because it's my brand, but because I want to go, hey, you're part of my community. Yay.
That would be a good conversation.
Absolutely. You want to start a conversation? Smile first, like we said, and then, give a compliment and be a part of this community. It's an awesome, awesome community.
Well, I plan on getting me a shirt and honestly, probably some leggings and a sports bra.
Well, we have some joggers coming up. We have some cute gym bags. I mean, we got everything for you, Kim.
See, and I am a bag fanatic, and my husband knows this. It's terrible.
Hey, thanks for having me on, guys. This was so exciting. I would love to come back.
We would love to have you back. Thank you so much.
We're glad that you're here and that you got to share your story with us. It is phenomenal, and it's a breath of fresh air in a world that needs it.
And that concludes today's episode of the Fitness
Manifesto. I know you guys enjoyed it.
And Kim, I want to say thank you to you and to our audience for making this podcast what it is.
Yes, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys.
And stay tuned for the next episode.